like a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream, fast as lightning, it's a dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Like Fernando calls to play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Not Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf queen, the top supporter scene, in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be, join the race, watch and see.
Tuesday night, 8 p.m. We go SAFRL the show. Engines roar, lights will glow. Feel the rush, feel the flow. Every lap, a twist, a turn. Speeding fast, rubber burn. Crowds cheer, hearts churn. Victory, what we yearn. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows side by side. Drama here can't hide. Victory, what we earn. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows side by side. Drama here can't hide. Racing fast in full stride. Crashes, spins on the track. Up and down, who's coming back? Champions rise, no slack. Push to the front, never back. Pit stops, precision, gold. Strategy, daring, bold. Who will lead, not foretold. Speed and skill, tales unfold. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows side by side. Drama here can't hide. Racing fast in full stride.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. When Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's right, crashing dreams nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Les keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's right, crashing dreams nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Les keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Engines scream, the lights go out. First corner, chaos, drivers shout. Rubber burns, dreams collide. Victory's close, but so's the slide. ZFR, the pulse, the sound. Nothing metal calls it round by round. Highs and lows, the thrill, the sting. The viewers return, let the madness begin. Tight chicane, the air is thin. Rain falls hard, who's gonna spin? Tensions rise, the clock ticks fast. Glory's fleeting, it never lasts. Front wings flying, broken pride, but hope still roars, you can't hide. ZFR, the pulse, the sound. Nothing metal calls it round by round. Highs and lows, the thrill, the sting. The viewers return, let the madness begin. Wheel to wheel, a fight for life. A champion crowned, a season's knife. Broadcast the roar, the passion, the pain. An NF artist in the storm and the rain. ZFR, the pulse, the sound. Nothing metal calls it round by round. Highs and lows, the thrill, the sting. The viewers return, let the madness begin. Dreams roar, the crowd goes wild. SAFRL under the lights. Tuesday night, a battle begins. Speeding hearts chasing winds. Pit stops are lightning fast. Every second a driver must grasp. Bumps and spins on curves so tight. Fighting for glory beneath the twilight. SAFRL on a Tuesday night. Adrenaline rush and flashing lights. Tears and triumphs on the line. In the race of life at 8 p.m. shine. The checkered flag is waving near. Fans are cheering, can you hear? Highs and lows in every lap. Draw unfolds, no time for a nap. Competitors push with all their might, risking it all in the fight. Victory awaits the bold and brave. Legends are born on this stage. SAFRL on a Tuesday night, adrenaline rush and flashing lights, tears and triumphs on the line. In the race of life at 8 p.m. shine. Checkered flag is waving near, fans are cheering, can you hear? Highs and lows in every lap, come on folks, no time for a nap. Competitors push with all their might, risking it all in the fight. Victory awaits the bold and brave. Legends are born on the stage. SAFRL on a Tuesday night, adrenaline rush and flashing lights, tears and triumphs on the line. In the race of life at 8 p.m. shine.
Well, gather round, folks, let me tell you a tale about a driver named Skull, racing fast without fail. He started down low in the back of the pack, but each season he climbed, never looking on back. He got quicker each year, like a rocket on wheels. His lap times were blazing, giving rivals the chills. From midfield to front, he was chasing the crown, a podium contender, making town shout a sound. He was winning some races, nearly topping the charts. Skull's name in the lights, stealing Formula One hearts. With speed like a demon, he was setting the pace, a champ in the making, dominating the race. But hold on now, partner, here's where things go astray. Skull's races start wild, then they crash in a fray. He's got Max Verstappen speed, burning up the track, but George Russell's tears when his car don't come back. In corner, smashing walls with a bang, disqualified for cutting. Hear the steward's harsh clang, retiring in the pits, or he's wrecking with flares. Skull's short fuse like strolls, yelling loud in despair. His internet's dropping, or the game kicks him out. 1 minute he's leading, then he's down with a pout. He's fast as a bullet, but his luck's in the ditch, crashing into rivals, leaving fans in a stitch. He's got speed like Max and them tears like our George, a temper like Lance when his race plans diverge. Skull's heart's in the fight, but his car's in the wall. Yet we know he'll keep pushing, never quitting at all. So here's to old Skull with his fire and his fight. He's down but not out, he'll be back in the light. With his speed and his grit, he'll be winning someday. Skull's gonna rise, it'll blaze all the way. He'll blaze all the way. And engine screams, she's the guardian of our speed-filled dreams. With Skull in flight, an alien on the chase, she's the calm in the storm, our guiding grace. Andre by her side, loyal and strong, their love's been racing all along. But it's the brotherhood she holds so near, with every lap she makes it clear. Oh, Death Queen, heart of the grid, with every cheer she lifts the lid on fears, on doubt she tears through night. Her voice, our fuel, our fearless light. From cockpit to coach she stands supreme, a true believer in the brotherhood dream. Oh, Death Queen, in shadows and gleam, you are the queen of our sim racing team. Trophies shine, but not like her pride.
watching Skull and Andre glide. She's there in silence, she's there in roar, in every circuit, every lore. From midnight spins to dawn's first light, she's always there holding us tight. No crash too deep, no curve too wide. With her in spirit, we rise, we ride. Oh, Death Queen, heart of the grid. With every cheer she lifts the lid on fears, on doubt she tears through night. Her voice, our fuel, our fearless light. From cockpit to coach she stands supreme, a true believer in the brotherhood dream. Oh, Death Queen, in shadows and gleam, you are the queen of our sim racing team. She ain't just a fan, she's a legacy born through every F1 storm we wore. Holding the line, fierce and unseen, forever our monarch, our Death Queen. Whoa, Death Queen, heart of the grid. With every cheer she lifts the lid on fears, on doubt she tears through night. Her voice, our fuel, our fearless light. From cockpit to coach she stands supreme, a true believer in the brotherhood dream. Oh, Death Queen, in shadows and gleam, you are the queen of our sim racing team. Yeah, oh, Death Queen, you are the queen of our sim racing team.
Well, gather round, folks, let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, Skull by name. He's quick on the track, now he's raising some hell, climbing up faster and aim to tell. He's been chasing the lead, showing grit and some might, but don't get too thrilled, he's still crying at night. He's good getting great. Oh, Skull, got the speed and he's starting to pull. Oh, Skull, he's crying like George Russell, that's no lie. When the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, pushing it hard, reaching up to the stars. Max Verstappen's pace, he's a force to behold, but his tears flow like rivers when the story's untold. Now don't get me wrong, he's got skill to unfold. Lately he's proven he's worth more than gold. He's good getting great. Oh, Skull, got the speed and he's starting to pull. Oh, Skull, he's crying like George Russell, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, pushing it hard. Lately he's so fierce, giving rivals a fright. His recent podiums gleam in the Formula One light. With a short fuse like Lance Stroll, he's quick to ignite. And when things go awry, he's a weeping young knight. He might not be champ, but he's putting up a fight. Still known for them tears when the stars shine at night. He's good getting great. Oh, Skull, got the speed and he's starting to pull. Oh, Skull, he's crying like George Russell, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, or he can cry. So here's to Skull, with his heart on display. In the world of Formula One, he's finding his way. He's earned some respect with his pace and his run. Let's cheer for old Skull, our tearful bold one. He might not be king, but he's sure lots of fun. So raise up a glass for our fiery young gun. He's good, getting great. Oh, Skull, got the speed and he's starting to pull. Oh, Skull, he's crying like George Russell, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's a dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Like Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. And now Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene, in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
Tuesday night, 8 p.m. We go SAFRL the show. Engines roar, lights will glow. Feel the rush, feel the flow. Every lap, a twist, a turn. Speeding fast, rubber burn. Crowds cheer, hearts churn. Victory, what we yearn. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows side by side. Drama here can't hide. Victory, what we earn. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows side by side. Drama here can't hide. Racing fast in full stride. Crashes, spins on the track. Up and down, who's coming back? Champions rise, no slack. Push to the front, never back. Pit stops, precision, gold. Strategy, daring, bold. Who will lead, not foretold. Speed and skill, tales unfold. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows side by side. Drama here can't hide. Racing fast in full stride.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying will. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the fun.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to SAFRL on a Tuesday night. Getting going about 5 minutes later than usual. You can see a 20 field grid, so a full grid for tonight's race. Of course, we're in Albert Park, a 5.3 kilometer circuit. And it's actually a street circuit. Not a lot of people think of Albert Park as a street circuit, but 70% of the circuit is available to traffic use during the year. Of course, the only part cordoned off is really the main straight in the pits. As you can see, weather conditions not ideal. Intermediates, the drivers will know if the session is going to get better as it goes on, or if it's going to get worse, or if it's going to stay the same. A lot of drivers out on circuit early on. If the track is indeed going to get worse, we're going to have a very busy start to qualifying. If the track is going to get better, well, we might see a quiet start to qualifying. That seems not to be the case. A lot of drivers out on outlaps already. This rain can be completely isolated to the qualifying session, and by the time we get to the race, can be sun shining, dry race throughout. It does make things a little bit difficult then to set the car up for a dry setup or a wet setup. So if your qualifying is in the wet and your race is in the dry, or vice versa, you need to pick. You want to be quickest in qualifying. Probably have not the most ideal car in the race. Or will you take that penalty in qualifying? Are you just looking for grip? Is the Sauber? This is J-Boy about to go over the line and start his first timed lap. His teammate has started his first timed lap, so it looks like the two Saubers came out of the pits almost immediately as the session began. Wanting to get time out there. Remember also in qualifying, whenever you're in the wet, a lot of the drivers tend to approach qualifying in a very different way than what you're used to. Of course, most of the time, you're going to have drivers coming out, doing an outlap, doing a timed lap and returning to the pits. There are one or two drivers who like to do several laps, but in the rain, tends to be a lot more drivers doing several laps. You just put in an extra A little bit of fuel, maybe 3 laps on those intermediate tires. We tend to see that in wet quali revolutions. Back just steps out. He's on it. Using all of the race circuit available to him. He's going to be the first man over the line to set a benchmark. This track did get an update a few years ago, made it a lot quicker, added a DRS zone to the middle sector. Made the circuit a lot more easy flowing. Revolution over the line for the first lap time of the night. And it's a 1 minute 30.2. Immediately beaten with a 129.1. Virus goes to the top of the field. And then J-Boy pops in just ahead of his teammate, 132.37. And now Virus, Warlock, Skull goes fastest. These lap times are going to keep coming in. And I assure you, as time goes on, even if the rain doesn't lighten, even if the track doesn't improve, these lap times will come down. It's going to be very important who's on the circuit right at the end. We're looking at Osman, one of the 2 Aston Martins, of course. 20 drivers in the field, so 2 of each car here today. Nobody missing their teammate. All of the teams will be hoping for double points finishes. And have a quick look at the Drivers' Championship. Spikes leads the way on 54 points. Jonas 26, Queez 25, SPM 25. And then also Chris 25, Pantry Star 25. So very, very, very close there for P2. Spikes, for the time being, has a nice lead. And then over to the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull leads the way, 54 points. Williams just behind on 51. Aston Martin 45. McLaren 43. Alpine 35. Ferrari 34. Constructors' title very much at play. And then, of course, brief look at the calendar. Of course, the 14th of October, that's today, round 4 in Albert Park. And then next week, we head to the Circuit of the Americas. Not what you want to see. Warlock using all of the racetrack and maybe a little bit too much racetrack. Looks like he tapped the wall there on the outside. Still seems to be pushing. Qualifying in the West is sometimes about building up to that lap time, not necessarily about going out there and getting it first time. A lot of these guys do have extra fuel in the car. You can see by the tire usage, lots of times cars will go out, do a lap, come back in, say 1 lap on the tires. You can see there are cars out there with already 2 laps on the same set of tires. Harsh Cartoon 129.4 remains in the pits for now. Lam Royale and Revolution 130.1, 130.2, the slowest of the timed drivers. Still waiting for 3 drivers to go over the line and set a time. Wezo, no lap time. Pantry Star, no lap time. And it's Spikes, no lap time. At the front though, Skull all the way, 27.030. That's not a comfortable lead. Warlock just behind him, 27.051. That is just 0.02 of a second between the 2 drivers on the front row. As for the second row, 300s in it. And as I say that, that's been broken. Lam Royale, 27.2, pops himself up into P3. Rain still seems to be falling. I'm not sure conditions are improving, but like I said, these lap times will come down regardless, and it just comes down to the confidence of the drivers. In the beginning, you can be tiptoeing around the circuit, don't want to make any mistakes. The end, start to get the feel for it. You're going to start to learn where the grip is. You're going to start to take a little bit more risks, braking a little later. You will see these lap times coming down. At the front, Spikes got ahead of Skull, set a 26.6. That's a big difference, 0.4 of a second. And then SPM comes in 26.5. Lap times continue to fall in chunks of about half a second at a time. Something you can only see in a wet quali. SPM. Skull Spam 26.5. Then Spikes 26.6. Nothing in it there on the front rows. Skull 27.0. Then Warlock also 27.0. Skull goes quickest in sector 1. Lap times, they're going to keep coming down. Skull already got 4 laps on those intermediate tires. Not sure what happened there. Right behind the Selber. Selber did jump out of the way eventually, but I'm not sure if that's going to affect the lap time. 8.5 minutes remaining in the session. Sure how these drivers are going to play it. Of course, 4 laps on the intermediate tire. Still going to go around and set another lap, or is he going to peel off into the pits? Not yet. Stays out on track. Can be 5 laps on the intermediate. And then obviously at the end, you come in for a new set of inters, strip all the fuel. Theoretically, you should go faster. Skull goes fastest, 26.2. Skull Spam now down into P2, Spikes down into P3. Things keep on changing. Warlock 4, Martin now up into P5. Panda P6. We've got the 2 Aston Martins, 7 and 8. Lam Royale and Osman separated by almost nothing. 0.03 of a second covering the 2 Aston Martin teammates. This is the quickest man out on track. The Alpine of Skull currently top of the field, 26.2. Maybe it was Skull's new intro song that fired him up tonight. Spikes goes quicker, 25.8. What a jump. These lap times, they're jumping not by a couple of tenths at a time. Spikes just goes half a second into the lead. Skull 5 laps on the tire. Now he's actually just gone down to P3 because SPM has found something even more. 25.86 versus a 25.89. 0.03 of a second cover the front row. And with more than half of qualifying completed, we have no idea what this field is going to look like. SPM at the top of the field, Harsh Cartoon at the bottom of the field as things stand. Harsh Cartoon 29.4. He is in the pits. Obviously preparing for that one final run. Still time to do 2 runs, or just 1 run with multiple laps on the same set of tires. We may be seeing the latter from most of them. Spikes now returns to the pits after a long run. SPM still out on circuit. Skull has also returned to the pits after what was a lengthy run, almost 6 laps on the intermediate tire. Told you there was a lot of fuel in that car. Once he puts on the new grip, strips the fuel, can only go one way, and that's up the field. Sugar Bear up into P3 now with the 25.9, 26.1 for Levy. In P4, Skull Down to P5 now. That's how quickly things change in a wet quali. Constantly getting quicker, lap times constantly coming down. Drivers finding a little bit more confidence with each and every sector they attempt. And every moment you sit in the pits, everybody else out there continues to find tents. Lots and lots of tents. Quickest of the drivers out on track at the moment is the driver in P3, that is Sugar Bear, 25.9. The other 4 drivers in the top 5 all sitting in the pits preparing for that final run. Just over 4 minutes remaining on the clock, so we should see them emerging from the pits in the next minute or so. You don't want to leave things too late. Maybe allow yourself 2 laps at the end. If you get the first one wrong, gives you that second opportunity. Like I said, you probably want to be on circuit right at the end. You want to be the last car to go over the line. This is Lam Royale B6, one of the 2 Aston Martins. They were very, very close together at a stage. The 2 Aston Martins now separated by 9/10 of a second. Osman is out on circuit looking for an improvement of his own, trying to get higher up the field to match his teammate. Find a further 9/10 if he wants to match his teammate. Sector 2, purple. What was that? That was Sector 1, purple. For Sugar Bear, going quick, 25.9 is current best. The only driver in the top 5 to currently be out on the circuit. Just over 2.5 minutes remain in the session. Spikes remains in the pits. SPM stays in the pits, as does Levy and Skull. Only Sugar Bear out on circuit for now. Currently in P3. Let's get himself not only onto the front row, but into provisional pole. Caution in Sector 1, but that's no need for concern. It's going to go over the line, see if he finds an improvement. 25.9. And he's just done a 25.5. Finds himself 4/10 of a second, takes himself to the top of the field. SPM remains in the pits. Spikes now out on circuit, as is Levy, as is Skull. Now SPM also comes out of the pit. So all 5 of the top 5 all out on circuit. 2 minutes remaining. Good evening to Dixie Killer just joining the chat. Also welcome to Visor. In a while, welcome to Yun, to Captain Slow, Death Queen. I was in here earlier, but you know he's out on circuit now. If he's listening, welcome, Boinky. We also spotted Tian in here earlier. Not sure if he's still here. There was a poll prediction, but that poll prediction obviously fell apart the moment we saw rain on our screens. Sugar Bear still the quickest driver, 25.5, followed by Lam Royale now in P2 on a 25.6. SPM still on his outlap, 25.8. Spikes 25.8. Skulk 26.0. Where has Skull gone? Skull now down to P8 on an outlap, looking for an improvement that will take him back to the top of the field. We stay now with Spikes, 25.8 for the Red Bull in P4. His teammate down in P19. Red Bull need Spikes to have a good result here today. His teammate were to stay where he is. He's gone fastest in Sector 1, so he's doing the job. Lights up Sector 1 in purple, does Spikes. 25.8 is the time he has. The time he's trying to beat is a 25.596. But he might want a little bit more than that, because there's some other drivers out on track chasing that very same time. Sugar Bear goes over the line, that's the end of his session. Lam Royale over the line, that's the end of his session. The top two cannot improve on their lap times. Those are locked in. SPM, Spike, Skulk, they can all improve. Maori All Black, checkered flag for him. Lebby and Skull can still improve. Wezo leaves the session, rather retires from the session. Leaving the session would be very, very bad. You're looking at the Alpine of Skull for most of the session. Found himself towards the top of the field. Spikes has gone quickest. What a lap time. 25.1. 4/10 faster than anything we've seen this evening. Now this is a man that found himself at the top of the field for a very long time during this qualifying session. Spent some time in the pits and found himself falling all the way down now to P10. P12. These late stages. Back end just steps out. We'll be hoping for a good exit on the final corner. Uses all of the exit. Goes over the line. Does find an improvement. We saw the back end stepping out there just before the final corner. And that could have been, and probably was, what cost him the extra 2/10. 2 or 3/10 would have been closer, but I think he would have still been on the second row. Everyone has gone over the checkered flag or is in the pits. So qualifying has come to an end. And SPM starts his night off in the perfect way. There are your results. SPM, that's Skulk Spam 25-0, takes pole position. Spikes will start from P2, and they're going to be followed by Skull P3, Sugar Bear P4, then Lamb Royale, Pantry Star, Skulk, Lebby, Martin, and Virus will be the final car in the top 10. For those outside the top 10, difficult work. Maori, Boinkies, Wezo, Andre, Osman, Warlock, Panda, J-Boy, Harsh Cartoon, and Revolution. They're going to be going from outside the top 10 in a very, very busy field of 20 drivers. Turn 1, lap 1, going to be crucial. Of course, now we look down the empty pit lane in anticipation of the start of the race. No rain in sight, at least for now. We can't get a very good view of the sky from this angle, so as soon as we get out on track, we'll ride on board with somebody so we can get an idea of what's happening in the heavens. Of course, you all know the drill. Seems like absolutely nothing is happening, but the drivers are all to the left-hand side of our screen. They are all on the grid, and I assure you they are all very busy. Selecting things like what tire are they going to start on? What's their strategy? How many times do they intend to stop? When do they intend to stop? Early in the race, late in the race, 1 stop, 2 stop, all of those decisions are made right there while we're looking down the empty pit lane. We get the dual green lights. Means everyone will get away for a formation lap. Allows everybody to get around the circuit one final time. This will be the first time the drivers are feeling the slick tire this evening. They're going to be feeling a heavy car. Running through the field again, Skulk Spam P1. Going to be going from the top of the order. Then Spikes P2. He'll be looking to get a good start. Skull, he'd like to get himself up and amongst the top 2 going into turn 1. Sugar Bear P4, Lamb Royale P5. Then we've got Pantry Star 6, Skulk 7, Levy 8, Martin 9, and Virus. Final car in the top 10. There is a lot of work to do in a field this large. Maori 11, Boinkies 12, Wezo 13, Andre 14, Osman 15, Warlock 16, Panda down in 17. Got the 2 Selbers 18 and 20, that's J-Boy and Revolution. And Harsh Cartoon, the second Red Bull, down in P19. Red Bulls on opposite sides of the grid. mirroring life. One Red Bull, second in the field. Second Red Bull, second last in the field. Do not fear for the DSQ you see next to the name of Spikes. That just means he probably got the car parked up wrong, went a little bit too far in his box, or didn't park properly in his box. Means he'll be pushed back slightly in his box. Not ideal for the start of the race if you're hoping for a blistering start into turn 1. And now 5 red lights, 3, 4, 5, and when they go out, we get underway. Going to be Red Bull versus Haas versus Alpine versus Williams into turn 1. 5 manufacturers in the top 5, and that's why our Constructors' Championship has been so close this season. SPM leads the way. We've got a caution in Sector 1 already. That has gone away. Spikes in P2. Caution returns to our screen. Skull P3, then Lam Royale P4. Sugar Bear P5, Lebby P6, then Skull. Maori, what a good start he had. Started in P11, he's already up to P8. Then we got Pantry Star in P9, the 2 McLarens, 10 and 11, that's Wezo and Virus. Then we got Andre P12, also a good start. I think he started down in P14, so 2 positions made up early. Boinky's P13, followed by Panda 14. Then the 2 Selbers starting to make up some ground. J-Boy 15, then Martin for the Haas 16, the second Selber of Revolution 17. But the second Merc of Warlock P18, and the 2 drivers at the rear of the field, Harshkot Boone and now Osman. That's far too wide for Sugar Bear. Goes off the circuit, puts 2 tyres on the gravel, and that allows Lebby to easily take the position and put himself up into P5. Lam Royale P4. 24.9, that's the end of lap 1. You can see that lap time come down very much, I assure you. Top 6 drivers all in the same frame there. Top 6. 6 different manufacturers. And this sort of racing probably explains this Constructors' Championship. 54, 51, 45, 43, 35, 34. Everyone in the top 6 could take the lead of the championship tonight. Such a close Constructors' Championship. As for the Drivers' Championship, Spikes is ahead by almost an entire race victory, and he leads the way by 8/10 of a second. So giving you the proper race start commentary procedure. I am unfortunately not Ted Kravitz or David Croft, so I'm not going to be able to I'm not sure I can make it sound that good. That's 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4, 5, lights out, and away we go. Spikes leads the way, and more importantly now he has, I was going to say he's broken DRS, but that just changed in front of my very eyes. 7/10 of a second. Spikes must have made a little mistake. SPM now very much back within his DRS. 7/10 of a second between the 2. Skull now starting to fall back. 1.6 seconds adrift from the top 2. Got Lam Royale close in his mirrors. As for tyre selection, you can see a pretty even split down the field between medium and hard runners. The hard tyre seems to be the more popular choice for the drivers at the rear of the field, and the medium seems to be the more popular choice for the cars at the front of the field. With a few exceptions here and there. That exception being Lam Royale. Lam Royale in P4, the only driver in that top 6, and a set of hard tyres. Always preferred starting on the hard. Feels like you're getting past the most difficult first. Of course, the hard tyre takes a long time to warm up. In the beginning of the race, everybody's going to have superior grip to you, and you're going to have a heavy car with low grip. Basically, at the start of the race, with hard tyres, your car will probably be the worst it can be. As that car begins to burn up fuel, begins to get lighter, car will feel better and better, and by the time you come in for your pit stop, you're going to have a light car and a soft or medium, rather, compound of tyre. So you get through the hard work in the beginning of the race for a much better feeling car in the second half of the race. Although if you get an early safety car and you're looking to go deep into the race, well, that safety car can destroy that strategy completely. That's the thing with Formula One, you can prep as much as you want, you can practice as much as you want. The mistake is never far away. The mistake could come from you. The mistake could come from a driver around you. And in some cases, the mistake doesn't come either there. It's simply the game that'll kick you out or serve you all sorts of penalties you've never seen before in your life. In order to win, it needs to be a combination of lots of practice, lots of luck, and in most cases, both. Caution in Sector 1, but it's not a caution. It'll say caution on your screens and on my screen. There's caution in Sector 1, but all you need to do is look at the mini track map. See, the entire track is lit up in yellow. And just on the exit of Turn 2, you'll see a stationary yellow dot. That is a safety car. I said to the drivers starting on the hard tyre, looking to go deep into this race, this sort of forces them to stay out on track, hold track position. It sort of puts a kink in the strategy plan. I hope I didn't just cause a safety car by saying safety car half a lap before it happened. I'm sure those two events have nothing to do with each other. We are under our first safety car, lap 6 of 29. This has forced a shuffle in the field. Everybody on the medium tyres seems to have come in, put on a set of hard tyres. Then the drivers that were starting on the hard, well, they've had to stay out, hold on to track position. Those hard tyres have not done the job that they were expected to do. Of course, those tyres are supposed to take you deep into the race, maybe lap 16, 17 or 18, somewhere around there. And obviously, you can't pit rather on lap 5 for those tyres because you're going to force a 2-stop. Sometimes that safety car notification will come out and you're already halfway through Sector 3, which means you're going to come up on that pit entry in just a few corners and you need to make that decision. What are you going to do? Am I going to come into the pits, roll the dice, see what happens when I emerge? Or am I going to stay out here, hold on to track position and hope I can keep things together at the restart? The decision you have to make very, very quickly. Sometimes it's a decision that will give you a fantastic, surprising result. Other times will give you a very difficult race going forward. You have 2 penalties in the field. Let's just get some clarification on what those are. They're just 3 seconds apiece for Martin and Levy. Fortunately, not any pit infringement. Of course, if you're found speeding in the pit lane under safety car or not under safety car, under any conditions, you will get a 10-second penalty. As well as all the drivers to remember, be very careful with that delta of yours. Be careful at the restart. Been seeing a lot of drive-throughs happening lately on this game. Of course, we did get an update earlier today, so if you do see any funny things popping up on screen, that's probably why. Thanks to Death Queen for the free advertising. Remember to like and subscribe. Of course, it helps out the channel, and it lets me know if you're enjoying the content. SAFRL has really done a fantastic job this season. 20 drivers in the field. It's not the first time. There's usually 20 drivers in this field. Everybody coming out for the Tuesday night race, and it's fantastic to see. The safety car pulls off into the distance, does he? I believe he does. That means Lam Royale at the front of the field. Let's go there. He's going to decide when this restart happens. He decides when to go. There can be no overtake until the start-finish line. And at this circuit, that's rather important because it's quite a long straight. Look at that. He waits right to the end. As he goes over the start-finish line, he accelerates away. He's not going to get the start he would have wanted. Of course, when you surprise your opponents, you can get into turn 1 with a second lead. That hasn't happened. Maori All Black all over the back of Lam Royale. But now everyone in that top 6 are cars that chose to hold on to track position. So Lam Royale, Maori All Black, Pantry Star, Virus, Martin and Boinkies. That's your top 6. All of them on 7-lap old hard tires. All the cars beneath them, or below them rather, on fresher tires. All of those, not quite sure what happened here to Harsh Cartoon. Seems like his car is intact. That was one of the drivers that stayed out, held on to track position on the medium tire. If I'm not mistaken, he was all the way up in P5 or 6 at a stage. But on that restart, he's lost an incredible amount of time. And he's down to P18 on an aging set of mediums. Without the assistance of a second safety car, the future does not seem bright. So I don't think there's anyone watching that hasn't subscribed. A lot of the usual crowd. I don't see any new names in the comment section. But of course, if you are new, remember to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,500 subscribers. For a channel this size, we got 100 new subscribers just last month. Two Haas now 5 and 6. That's Martin and SPM. Those two drivers on different strategies. Martin held on to track position. He's got 8 laps on the hards. His teammate 3 laps on a newer set of hard tires. The Haas can't play any team order games just yet because they separated by a McLaren. But I wonder if those two do come wheel to wheel because they're on different strategies. Martin won't make too much of a fight of it. Of course, team orders, a big topic of discussion in Formula 1 today when it comes to a certain papaya team. Sometimes better to just stay out of it. Let them race wheel to wheel. Try and make things too fair, and you run into trouble down the road. But after the last Grand Prix, I wouldn't be too surprised if we find Oscar in the future ignoring a few instructions, and I wouldn't blame him. Look at this for a race. Briefly 3 cars wide. SPM does go up into P4. Gets past his teammate, gets past Spikes. And now next target, the top 3 ahead of him. Lam Royale, Maori All Black, and Pantry Star. That is your top 3. They separated by 1 second. Of course, we have had just the one retirement of the 20 drivers. Lebby, that retirement, that's one of the RBs. So one RB remains in the race, and he's doing pretty well. Maori All Black in P2, 3-second time warning for Lam Royale, and that's an important penalty because that's for the leader. The entire track does light up in yellow yet again. We just wait for confirmation as to what this is. If you see a yellow dot emerging from the pits, well, then you know it's a full safety car. If there's no yellow dot emerging from the pits, then we are under virtual safety car. On your screen, it's not going to give you either of that information. Caution sector 3, no yellow dot on the screen. Track is lit up in yellow, and that tells me we're under virtual safety car. Of course, unlike a full safety car, where a safety car will come out, collect the entire field, put them up into a nice tight little queue before going back to the pits in 2 or 3 laps time, a virtual safety car simply gets everybody to average out their speed, slow down. It's meant to keep the gaps the same prior to the virtual safety car as after the safety car, but that doesn't always work out. You're a little asleep and your opponent is very much aware of that. He can close or open that gap under virtual safety car. The RS is enabled. We're back to racing speed. Lam Royale leads the way, but now he's got a penalty on his shoulder he needs to take note of. Of course, let me know in the comment section. I've said before, if there's anybody you want to get a race update on, get some footage of the driver you're supporting, just let me know. Of course, there's 19 drivers in the field. If I were to try and give everybody equal broadcast time, well, we'd probably see only 2 or 3 laps of the leaders. We need to try and keep our eyes on the leaders, try and keep our eyes on the rest of the field. But simply keeping track of every car in the field just can't be done. If F1 TV can't do it, how do you expect me to do it? Of course, one of the best overtakes in the last Grand Prix was missed by everyone, really. Sky Sports didn't show it. F1 TV didn't show it. It only showed up as a replay after the race on social media. Because obviously during that overtake, the camera went and filmed Carlos Sainz's girlfriend. Once that shot was over, so was the overtake. Lam Royale leads at the front. He's got a nice lead of 2.3 seconds. Of course, keep extending that lead. He's got a 3-second penalty. So even with a 2.1 second gap, technically he's not provisionally leading this race. He is in P2. Once he expands that gap below, or above rather, 3 seconds, then he can call himself the leader. Now 2 seconds in the lead with a 3-second penalty. Well, it means he'd lose the race by a second. Of course, if you're a driver that has that sort of pace, you can simply eliminate these penalties by opening up gaps in the field, neutralizing the penalty. But if you're going to have multiple safety cars throughout the race, you don't get an opportunity to open up those gaps. And by the end of the race, you find yourself losing a multitude of positions in a race that could have otherwise been so good. Gap at the front, doing the opposite of what Lam Royale would like. He'd like to open up that gap beyond 3 seconds. Gap was briefly up to 2.4 seconds, then it started coming down, now all the way down to 1.3 seconds. And at this stage of the race, seems like SPM and Spikes definitely on the better tyre, all three on hard tyres. Remember, 2 and 3, 8-lap-old hards. Lam Royale, 13-lap-old hards. He held on to track position. If Tian is still here, Tian, let me know, what can the drivers do with these medium tyres? Rather the hard tyres. If you've got 8 laps on your hard tyre as things stand, can you finish the race? Surely not. Panda picks up a 3-second time penalty. The penalties getting more and more populated up and down that timing screen. 5, 6 drivers now on penalties. There's Maori All Black in P4. Then Skull, P5. Pantry Star, P6, the only Ferrari in the points as things stand. His teammate down in P19. Boinky's not having the race he would want. But of course, as you saw that timing sheet get flipped under that safety car, just shows you, even if you're at the rear of the field, doesn't mean you're going to stay there. You need to keep your foot down. You need to keep on pushing to ensure that when that opportunity arises, you're able to take it. Martin, the second horse. That's the driver you're looking at. That's the driver you're riding on board with. Currently in P7. Got Virus right behind him. You can see there from the rear wing. Great view from the back of the car. Just gives us an opportunity to see how close they really get in the braking zones. But now with DRS, the McLaren attacks and thinks better of it. Fantastic view there from the rear wing. This gives you an indication Virus did think about it, then thought better of it. Virus stays P7. Martin stays P6. As for the leaders, we go to the other horse, and that lead has disappeared. In fact, Lam Royale was in the lead. Now it's SPM, but look how close it is. 0.5 of a second. Spikes, your championship leader, very much on the back of that horse, looking to take the lead away so that he can ensure growing his championship lead. He now does lead the race and has no intention of giving that lead back. A caution in sector 3, but I think that's all it is. Remember, if the entirety of the track map lights up in yellow, then we may be in trouble. If it's just a portion, well, you can expect it to disappear, and it just has. And it's re-emerged. There we go, it's re-emerged. The stewards, are they the stewards? No, they're not. The marshals. The marshals. Very, very busy with the yellow flag today. Speaking of marshals, my father has been a Formula One marshal In the 1985 South African Grand Prix, my father was a marshal at turn 1 at Crowthorne. And Formula 1 disappeared for a while. It returned in 92 and 93. Both times my dad was a fire marshal in the pits. In 1992, he was the fire marshal of Aguri Suzuki for the Tyrrell team. And in 1993, he got to be the fire marshal for Mario Andretti. Not Mario Andretti, that's the dad. Who's the son? I can't remember. Andretti. And his teammate was obviously Ayrton Senna. My father got probably the best view in the house. Who wouldn't want to watch a Formula 1 Grand Prix from the pits? And because he was a marshal, he got in for free. Imagine free entry in a pit viewing point. Brilliant. I should be a voluntary marshal. Unfortunately, there's no Grand Prix. Spikes, 0.2 of a second is the gap with SPM. Nothing in between the two. Matching each other lap after lap. And look at the tires. That's also important. They got the same compound and the same amount of laps. So this is not going to come down to tire usage. It's not going to come down to grip. This is a race on pace. Both of these drivers on the absolute limit. And you know that when you're on the absolute limit, it's so easy to go over it. Skull, now the driver who claims P3. He's 10 seconds adrift from the top two drivers. Has shaken Wezo out of his DRS zone. So for the time being, it's a comfortable P3, but any sort of mistake will allow that Williams back into his DRS zone. So he needs to make sure to hold things together. Took a lot of curb there on turn 2. Really needs to be careful. Won't be surprised if he got a warning for that. Martin sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:18.6. The lap times, the position changes, the tire changes, all of it. It's madness. I can't stop. I can't talk this quick. I'm trying, but I can't keep up. Spikes leads, SPM 2, then Skull 3, followed by Wezo, Skull, Lam Royale, Maori, Martin, Pantry Star. And look who's up into the top 10. Visor's favorite, Bosch Cartoon. Bosch Cartoon's had a very, very busy race. Of course, he was right at the rear of the field. Then that safety car came out. He decided to hold on to track position, the only driver to do so on the medium set of tyres. That took him all the way up to P5. Then I have no idea what happened at his restart, but he went all the way down to P19 in the field. And somehow, he's back up in P11. A dramatic race with dramatic position shifts for the second Red Bull. Spikes and SPM still within DRS range. Maori, Martin, Pantry Star. The only significant DRS train we have on circuit. Martin under pressure from, rather Maori under pressure from Martin and Pantry Star. And we've got Wezo under a lot of pressure from Luku. The second Red Bull. How he would love to emulate his teammate, get that car up into the top 10, give Red Bull a double points finish. Where is Red Bull in the championship? Red Bull leads the championship. It's obviously because Spikes leads the championship and that helps Red Bull along the way. If they were able to start getting a second driver into the top 10 on a more consistent basis, well, that constructor's lead would only go in one direction. it would only get bigger. Seems like I'm talking about the real Red Bull team. I'd love to get a second car in the plot. It does sound like the real Red Bull team. Red Bull at SAFRL. Mirroring life. Now pit stops happening on the circuit. A lot of the drivers would have been hoping for that second safety car, but eventually made the call, realized we're going to have to make the pit stop. If that safety car doesn't come, we're going to end up looking pretty silly. Revolution. I said we hadn't seen any pit infringements. Unless I've missed something, that is the first one of the evening. It's so harsh. A 10-second penalty. It doesn't get served at that pit stop. So you will emerge from the pits with a 10-second penalty. You can get rid of the penalty by pitting again. If you don't pit again, that 10 seconds will be added on to your race time at the end. Of course, if you get a second safety car, you can come in, serve that 10-second penalty, and pretty much get away with it. Have a caution in Sector 1, but that's all it is. Track still lit up in green everywhere else, and the yellow flag disappears. 22 of 29, SPM 7/10 of a second ahead of Spikes. Spikes, of course, your championship leader. Not looking to finish in P2, looking to extend his lead. Where is SPM in the championship? Let's have a look. Spikes, Jonas, Wheeze, SPM in P4. It's not really P4. Look at that. SPM 25 points in P4. Then he's got Wheeze and Jonas just ahead of him on 25 and 26. I don't think either of those cars are here tonight. SPM will see this as a great opportunity to close the championship and maybe start to apply some pressure on Spikes. Things finished this way, he would gain 7 points on his Red Bull opponent. As for Skull, well, he's just been quiet. Getting on with his work quietly in the background. Nice, comfortable P3. And if any safety car is on the horizon, victory may be on the cards. Lam Royale in P4, 1.5 seconds adrift from the podium, still racing, hoping for that podium. We've had a 3-second penalty for Virus, third retirement of the day. Revolution, Boinkies and Lebby, now the 3 DNFs. And 2 of those DNFs seem to have been voluntary retirements in the pits. Not sure how the teams would feel about this. Cars driving into the pits, calling it a day. I'm pretty sure that's not part of the contract. Luckily, none of these drivers get paid, because if they did, I'd be calling for firing. SPM and Spikes 4/10 of a second. Lap 24 about to begin of 29. They've left nothing on the table, these two. They've separated from the rest of the field. Look at that, 13 seconds to the next car in P3. It's all about the two of them. Number 1 in the championship, number 4 in the championship. Regardless of if SPM finishes in first or second, at the end of this race, he will be second in the title. Slight internet drop happening as we speak, so apologies. If you have any buffering on your side, I suggest you rewind for about a lap. That should sort out the buffering and improve your viewing experience. Seems like things have sorted themselves out for now, but if the buffering does start again, like I say, just give it a little bit of a rewind. should sort out the problem. Skull now picks up a 3-second time penalty. Lamroyale has just got past Skull. We didn't see that on screen, but Lamroyale does get past Skull. I wonder if Skull made some sort of a mistake. But he has now lost that podium position and he has a penalty next to his name. Fortunately for him, Lamroyale has just picked up a second penalty. That means 6 seconds for Lamroyale, 3 seconds for Skull. And if things finish this way, Skull will still get that podium. Lamroyale took the position, stole the podium, and then 2 laps later, gave it back. The front, Red Bull versus Haas. Of course, Haas the only team in Formula 1 in 2025 never to have scored a podium in its history in Formula 1. Few strong points positions, but never a podium. In the virtual world, though, sure Haas has taken many championships. What a sight this would be. Imagine we got to the next Grand Prix and it was all about a Haas fighting a Red Bull. And we'd all sit there in shock. Probably wouldn't even show up to the SKR stream because I'd still be trying to figure out what just happened. Doesn't happen very often, but I almost slipped the curse word. Speaking of the FIA, I think I would have just been fined. Talking about firing drivers, I think I would have just been fined. Imagine the official broadcaster of F1 swearing when describing drivers. I think they should do that actually. You know, it make a alternate commentary team, and that alternate commentary team just goes insane. Swears at the drivers, pokes fun at the drivers when they make mistakes. Just goes absolutely insane. Has anybody seen I think it's called Ziggo Sport, a sports channel in the Netherlands? And funniest thing, they have absolutely no problem with swearing. Even after the race, when they interview Max Verstappen, they swear in the questions, and the drivers have no problem swearing in their answers. Completely allowed on Ziggo TV. The Dutch, just a little different. Speaking of the Dutch, many Max Verstappen fans here at NFR. Sometimes you come in here and all you see is Dutch in the comment section. I'm sure our South African league on a little YouTube channel acquired these Dutch viewers. Lots and lots of penalties up and down the field. It's going to make it difficult for us to really tell who's in what position. We're going to have to wait until that checkered flag. Looks like most of the drivers just on a 3-second penalty. We do have 6-second penalties for Lamroyale, Sugar Bear, as well as Iris. As for positions made up in the race, I think the biggest winner in the race so far will be Warlock. He's made up 7 positions, and wow. If you believed commentators' curse was just a conspiracy, that is the only example you'll ever need. I just said, biggest winner of the day, 7 positions made up, Warlock, and boom, Warlock's gone. I underestimate my power in the commentary box. SPM spikes Lam Royale Skull. Fortunately, that incident happened late on in the race, late enough in the race not to trigger any sort of safety car, so it's going to be a race right till the end. 28 of 29, SPM and Spikes. They'll be happy that their battle wasn't broken up by that late retirement. They can continue 0.5 of a second. Who will take the race victory? SPM still seems to be in control at the front. It's going to take something special. Something special from the Red Bull. He's not going to be able to do it into turn 1 this time round. And each and every corner he goes through, he knows his opportunity for an overtake gets less and less and less. Really depends who you're racing. Sometimes you can just stay as close behind as possible. Try and force that mistake. Make the driver think of you and only you, and that causes an incident up the road. He's not concentrating on where he should be. But when you're driving against a quality driver like SPM, you can't just rely on that mistake, because that mistake may never come. You're going to have to take a lunge. You're going to have to take a brave moment, and I'd say that was a brave moment. We don't get a good view of it, but he goes around the outside, gets into the front, and what a drive. SPM right at the end, gets it wrong. Get that car turned around, get it facing the right way, get back on circuit. He did have a rather large lead, and hopefully he'll be able to hold on to P2, but he doesn't. There goes Lam Royale. There goes Martin. And SPM, he'll be disappointed. But I think in a way, he will have secretly enjoyed that. What a race. Spikes over the line with a bit of a weave. Lam Royale probably didn't expect P2. That's exactly where he's going to finish. P2 for Lam Royale. Remember, Lam Royale 6 seconds worth of penalty, so he might still lose this to Martin. Let's see where Martin is. Yes, he does. He loses it to Martin. We get a Haas in P2 regardless. It's just not the one you thought it would be. Skulk over the line in P7. Wezo P8. Osman and Sugar Bear finishes up the top 10. SPM, I wonder if he came into the pits and retired on the last lap of the race. Don't know why he would do that, but SPM has been classified as a DNF. Of course, it's not the way you want to see a race end. You want to see them go right till the checkered flag, but that was brilliant. Right until the final sector. And Spikes had to put everything on the line, go to the outside. He pulled off the overtake. SPM just tried to get on the throttle a little early so he could stay in the battle. And he wasn't able to keep the car pointing in a straight line. Race winner goes to Spikes. Fastest lap to Martin. Driver of the day to Martin. Most overtakes to Martin. And then the cleanest driver of the night, well, that goes to Pantry Star. As for your results, Spikes increases his championship lead with 25 points on the night. Martin, 18 points plus the fastest lap, so 19 points on the night for Martin. Lam Royale P3, Skull P4, Pantry Star P5. Then we got Maori All Black P6, Skulk P7, the finishing Skulk. Then we got Wezo P8, Osman P9, and Sugar Bear makes up the top 10 and takes the final point. Just outside the points, Bad Luck, P11 Andre, then P12 J-Boy, followed by Panda, Harsh Cartoon, Virus, and then your list of DNFs. SPM, right at the end, so disappointing, but brilliant race. Warlock, I think I cursed him. And then Revolution, Boinkies, and Lebby was the first to go. There we go. You return to the pre-race, post-race screen. I hope you all enjoyed tonight. Of course, it was Season 3, Round 4 of SAFRL. Fantastic racing at the end there. Just a mistake coming the way from Skulk Spam right at the end. But still, I believe that he might be a little agitated right now, but deep down, he was enjoying that. Now, a quick look to the calendar. Of course, next up we head to Red Line Racing. That'll take place on Thursday night. Let's just see if I can bring up the Red Line calendar. There it is, the Red Line calendar. So the channel will return on Thursday night at 8. And obviously, it's going to be round 3 of Season 2, Saudi Arabia. It's going to be a sprint in Jeddah. Of course, some of the drivers you saw here tonight, you will see them again on Thursday. They race in multiple leagues and do carry over. So if you're a fan, remember to tune in on Thursday at 8 p.m. for Red Line Racing. If you don't, I'll see you again on Sunday at 6 p.m. for SKR. And of course, SAFRL in this time slot every Tuesday at 8 p.m. I want to thank everybody who joined the stream, everybody who left a like on the video. If you didn't leave a like on the video, if you just left a comment, thank you to all of you. It all adds to the interaction in the channel. It makes this more fun for me when I know you're enjoying it. And I appreciate each and every single one of you. So thank you very much to everybody who keeps this channel going. I will see you all again on Thursday at 8. Before 8. At 7:30. I'll be here at 7:30. Make sure to join me before the race. I will all see you then. Until next time. Cheers.
Shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's right. Crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's right. Crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Is that real sweat?
It's real sweat. I'm a high performance athlete. Athletes sweat. Sweat, baby. Sweat, sweat.
You've got a fire burning deep inside, a spark in the dark where your dreams collide. They'll tell you to stop, say the road's too long, but your heart keeps beating to a rebel song. Take a step, don't look below. Every scar's a story, only you will know. The weight of the world can't break your stride. You're carving your name where the stars reside. When the shadows call, when the nights grow cold, you'll find the strength in the tales untold. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. The ground may shake, but your roots run deep. Every fall you take is a promise you keep. The doubters will fade, their voices will break, 'cause your soul's on fire and it's yours to take. Run through the rain, chase the endless fight. Every dream you claim lights a spark in the night. The horizon's calling, it's yours to claim. A warrior's heart with a fearless flame. When the shadows call, when the nights grow cold, you'll find the strength in the tales untold. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. Stand tall when the thunder roars, break the locks, kick down the doors. Every step is a battle won. Your story's just begun. Oh, let it soar. Forevermore, forevermore. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. So keep on climbing, don't ever slow. The stars are waiting where the brave ones go. You'll rise to the sky. Yeah, you'll rise to the sky. A legend in the making till the end of time.